Bosom Friend forms a part of a collection of poems called Fiyad in 1984. The poem is authored by Hira Bansode. She is one of the more celebrated and better known Dalit poets. As the title suggests, this poem is about a very good friend, a woman friend, who accepts the poet's invitation for dinner and visits her for the visit time. She had managed, with encouragement from her husband and her father in law, to acquire higher education and even managed to secure a government job with the Indian Railways. The poem is a tale of conflict between the poet's expectation and reality of the caste system in Indian society, the pretensions and hypocrisies of the higher caste towards the lower caste. One day, the poet's close friend from a higher caste community comes to her home, a lower caste family, to have dinner for the first time. When her friend comes to her lower caste family, the poet thinks that her friend has left behind the caste prejudices, the rigid high and low caste distinctions. She thinks so because in their society, women do not usually ignore the caste disparities. The poet thinks that her friend has ripped out all those caste distinctions, bridging the gulf of those caste prejudices that divide between people, between communities, and between relationships. She thinks that her friend comes with a mind as large as the sky to her small house living behind the age old divided between higher and lower castes. She is very excited and happy. She praises her friend and regards call her bosom friend. Having contented that her friend is free from caste prejudices, the poet serves her food like the naive devotion of Shabari of the Ramayana. However, the poet's friend makes a change on her face when she looks at the plate served by the poet. The poet's friend, with a display of shock, tells the poet her dislike to the way the poet serves her chutney koshimbar. She tells the poet that the way the poet serves food is not proper and she has not still learned how to serve it. Her friend then tells the poet that the locusts will never rise above their old and outdated manners and customs. Her friend's words make the poet embarrassed. She remains silent. Then, towards the end of the meal, her friend expresses surprise when she learns that there is no buttermilk or yogurt with the last course of the rice, which is normal among higher castes. At this time, the poet has lost all her courage, her strength fell away like a falling star. She has lost all her pride in front of her friend, whom she dearly calls bosom friend. She feels sad and numb. It triggered her like the ripples created in a pool of stagnant water when a stone is thrown in it. She remembers all her childhood memories, yet she cannot tell all of these to her friend except to remember and kept as memories to herself. In her childhood, the poet did not have even milk for tea, which is much less compared to yogurt or buttermilk. Her mother cooked on sawdust, which she bought from the lumberyard, wiping away the smoke from her eyes. Every once in a while, they might get garlic chutney on coarse bread. Otherwise, they just ate bread crumbled in water. They did not know what a sweet like Shrikant was. The poet recollects that she never smelled the fragrance of ghee and never tasted halwa and basundi. The poet then realizes that her friend has not discarded the old tradition of caste inequalities and disparities. Its roots went deep in her friend's mind, and a change in her belief cannot be brought so easily. Lifelong prejudices and beliefs do not disappear overnight. The poet serves her friend yogurt with the last course of rice. She expresses regret that she could not serve the food in a manner that her friend sees as proper. The poet always thought that she was equal to her friend. Since she was well educated, she expected that her friend would have no caste prejudice. She was of the belief that her friend came to her home for dinner without any consideration of caste. She thought that her friend was broad minded and a true friend, but everything happened in contrast to her expectation. While in conversation, her friend addresses the poet as you folk. All these indicated that her friend still carries the attitude of looking down on the low castes, though she pretended to treat them as equals. Now, the poet is asking herself whether her friend is a true friend, a bosom friend, whether the society treats the low caste equally. The poem Bosom Friend ends up with a pessimistic note that there will not be any friendship between Indian society devoid of tradition and religion.